In Indianapolis right now, just a little light fog, winds out of the west at 7. Mostly cloudy, 44 at WIBC, your official weather station.
WIBC, the home of the Pacers.
Big game for the Pacers. They try to get back on the winning side.
There's an accident on Post Road, about 21st and Post Edge, or right there about I-70.
The Pacers have a huge game here tonight.
You bet.
The Magic in town, fresh from their NBA record, 28 straight wins at home.
Welcome to Indy for one of the grudge matches of the season, the Orlando Magic and the Indiana Pacers.
The Pacers want revenge. Tonight's game is a rematch of last year's nail-biting Eastern Conference Final that saw Orlando win 4 games to 3. The Pacers are tough at home. Orlando's poor on the road. Sounds simple? It won't be.
Yeah, we've got the game. We've got all this week's best news and moves. We'll be counting down the top 5 earners in the NBA, studying some more mad skills, and talking to Seattle's right man, Sean Kemp. So whatever you do, don't go away and keep it raw.
Edwards and Pippen up front, Jordan and Hopper at the guards. Here's Jordan for 3. Yes.
I guess this is what they call the calm before the storm.
Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Reggie Miller.
Whenever you lose 1 or 2 in a row, I think people start to panic a little bit. I think what we have to do is get back to the basics and get back to playing good defense and get back to the winning track. I think once you do that and get back on the right track, people will probably forget about that.
I never really worry about who we play. I'm more concerned about how our team plays and how we can do better. I don't have to tell the team it's Orlando and Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway. They realize that. And I don't have to tell the team we've been struggling lately, and one of the reasons we've struggled is because our effort hasn't been the best. I think we have good guys that understand that, and we'll compete tonight.
When we come here, we're just so excited, and the fans just are so excited because of the rivalry we had in the past, and it's just electrifying for us, and we just seem to come out and jump on them. So if we do that tonight, then I won't worry. But if we come out and we're just kind of going through the motion, then I'm really going to worry about it.
Shaq creates space.
There's Patrick over Shaq, blocked by Shaq, his 6th block.
I see you try, funny man. Some people say I've got too much on my mind. Movies, music, toys, correction. There's only one thing in my head, the championship. The championship. Because I got 10 fingers and no rings. And I love jewelry. That's what's on my mind. This is my planet.
You got room for a brother on your planet?
Penny against Marley. Goes to his left and beats Marley with ease.
That's our go-to guy, Shaquille. And we go into him, everything starts with him, and we go from there. You know, we have no jealousy amongst each other. We're good friends.
We just have to stick together and know that on any certain night, any guy can get hot. One night it could be me, next night it could be Penny.
Let's face it, people. Penny Hardaway is the best player in the NBA. And it's becoming very clear that
Hey, Penny,
Orlando is
is this couch real leather? Cause it's sticking to my leg.
We'll be right back.
The serious moves. Who's the man with the coolest shoes?
The new Air Penny from Nike.
Well, I guess Spike Lee wasn't available.
I'm very happy with where we are, considering all the illnesses and injuries and everything we've gone through, all the games missed by different players. I'm happy with where we are record-wise. Obviously happy with our performance at home. Now all we have to do the second half of this season is get our road performance up and be playing good basketball as we head into the postseason.
Hello?
Dave, where are you, man?
Dude, I'm outside Market Square Arena, site of the Orlando Magic's next defeat.
What? Just like in last year's Eastern Conference Final? I seem to remember that Indiana were a bit Mickey Mouse.
Carlton, that happened so long ago, you had an afro. And the Pacers, they own the Magic at Market Square Arena, having won 10 straight games.
Dave, man, we both know that was jet lag and dodgy plane food.
Dude, the Pacers are in second place behind the Bulls in the Central Division, and they're one of 4 teams to have beat them.
Dave, don't go there. Orlando have beaten them as well, and they're the top of the Atlantic Division.
You seem to have forgotten that the Magic have already come to Market Square Arena earlier this season and got whipped by 23 points. The Pacers are going to make the Magic disappear, man.
Look, trust me, it's not going to be like last time.
Look out, Shaq. You can find yourself seated for not just the rest of this game, but for some games coming up. You don't cool it down, buddy. Here is Jackson off to Rick in the baseline, 15-footer.
I'm here at Market Square Arena, where 16,500 people will crowd the house tonight, this being the 15th sellout of the year. And what a bargain this place is. Tickets go for $10 to $52. And check this out. Elvis had his last concert here in 1977. I don't know if Elvis has left the building, but I know Carlton hasn't.
Basketball is definitely a game for the whole family. Check out these baby clothes. They're wonderful. Look at this. Baby grow for $20. And over here, we've got our T-shirts. We've got great T-shirts. Check this out. Reggie Miller caricature. Love it. Over here, we've got shorts, and we've got loud shorts, and we've got even louder shorts. But if you've got $619, you can get yourself a Pacers leather jacket. And what does it mean to the team? Well, it means cash money. Anticipating a great game of basketball. Orlando won their 28th consecutive home game last night and have broken a 49-year-old record. They've also won 4 out of their last 5, while Indiana, on the other hand, have lost 4 out of their last 5.
Yeah, but the Pacers are the squad at home. They have an overall record of 32-19, and they play some of the nastiest defense in the league. Rick Smits has the flu, but this squad is deep.
All right, there's only a couple of moments before the start of the game, so let's go over to our commentators with the starting 5. It's Dick Stockton and Chuck Bailey.
The starting lineups for the Magic: Dennis Scott, Horace Grant, Shaquille O'Neal, Nick Anderson, and Penny Hardaway. For the Pacers, Derek McKee, Dale Davis, Dwayne Chintz is starting in place of Rick Smits, Reggie Miller, and Mark Jackson, the backcourt. The officials tonight: Ed Middleton, Terry Durham, and Tony Brothers, and we're underway. And the tip controlled by the Orlando Magic. Magic coming in with a 38-14 record. 6 games ahead of the Knicks in the Atlantic Division. And we have a foul early on, and it's against Reggie Miller.
That was a set play, went high post to Shaquille, backdoored, and Miller got caught, and that's a foul that he didn't want to get into because could mean something at the end of the game.
Anderson trying to post up, but could not handle the ball. And we've had our first foul and now our first turnover, and maybe we'll have our first points of the game.
Sometimes it takes a while.
Mark Jackson, who is getting ready to assume a bigger leadership role with his team, feeds Derek McKee. McKee, who has fouled out the last 2 games for the Indiana Pacers, puts Indiana up. O'Neal working in against Chintz is fouled, and you can expect a lot of that inside.
Well, when he catches the ball, we've talked about it before. I think he's as difficult a player to officiate as in the game. First of all, his quickness, the size of him. That time he split the double team. They were too late. Draws the foul.
So Shaq averaging 26 points a game and 11 rebounds, but shooting only 46% from the free throw line. The foul was on Dale Davis, and it was interesting when Larry Brown told you today that they weren't going to go foul him just for the sake of putting him on the line late in the game.
No, they kind of did that inadvertently. I don't think they really wanted to do it. But O'Neal, since the All-Star break, has really been on a mission.
So getting that snub in the MVP award has been his own personal igniter. Miller controlling the ball, guarded by Anderson, a good defender. That's a fine matchup tonight. McKee picked up by Scott. Here's Mark Jackson for three. And the rebound by Horace Grant. Here is Scott. Fires inside. He found O'Neal. Getting a piece of it was Dale Davis. And now Shaq with the rebound is fouled. Good block in there by Dale Davis. But O'Neal, persistent as he is, will go to the line. And a look at the mask that Dale Davis is wearing to protect his broken nose, suffered Sunday against Chicago.
Yeah, he's going to have a problem adjusting to that. There he makes a terrific block. One you usually don't see on O'Neal, but eventually he does get to the free throw line.
That last foul was on Dwayne Shinsis, who is making the start tonight. Shinsis starting in place of Antonio Davis. They're fearing that Davis might pick up some early fouls.
The Pacers are going to struggle to get points. They're going to have to get stops to get on a run without Smits. They'll miss his 25 points.
And so Penny all over Reggie Miller commits the foul. Hardaway fouling Reggie Miller. They're going to need a lot of points from Reggie Miller, who's been hot lately, but they're also going to have to get some off the bench. As Craig mentioned, Dwayne Farrell is on the injured list, and Eddie Johnson won't play. Reverse layup by Miller doesn't fall. And nearly 2 minutes gone by in the first quarter. And Scott. Two of the big powers in the Eastern Conference, after the Bulls, we should say. Anderson going to the hoop against Miller. Leaves it off for Dennis Scott, who hits another from downtown. He's got 4 already in this first quarter.
They're so lethal from that three-point line. They know how to hang around. Once they get the ball to Shaq, it's a case of moving it and finding that open guy. And when it comes to a guy like Scott, huge problem for the defense.
3-point lead for the Orlando Magic. McKee working against Wolf goes in, and a pushing foul before the shot. And that is the first foul inside 2 minutes, and it's on Joe Wolf. So the next foul on the Magic will put them in the penalty. Here's Travis Best with the ball, number 4. A lot of quickness, adds a lot of zip to this team off the bench. Pierce out in three-point territory, fires away, wild shot, and slammed down off the glass by Shaquille O'Neal. That's his 6th rebound.
And the problem we talked about, it's all about offense. When you get Davis, one of the Davises or two of them in there, and Miller has to produce. He's shooting 1 for 6. He needs to get open, get some good shots. Of course, Orlando knows that also.
Shaq goes in against Antonio Davis, but the ball doesn't fall. Out of bounds, Indiana ball.
And this Pacer crowd wanted a foul against Shaquille O'Neal. They thought he came over the back, and Larry Brown is really up and incensed.
Playing for the last shot of the quarter. Travis Best at the point. In a 3-point game, Best gives up the dribble. Into McKee, over O'Neal. That's a fine play by Derek McKee at 6'10" over O'Neal. McKee has 8 points, and that will take care of the first quarter. 41-39 with 1:40 remaining in the first half. It's been nip and tuck all the way in a game of streaks by both teams. Here is Dennis Scott hitting another 3. That's his 5th of the game from downtown. Scott has 18. Shaquille O'Neal 10 to lead Orlando. Derek McKee with 15 for Indiana. Mark Jackson looking inside, getting a screen from Dale Davis on the pick and roll to the hoop, and Davis can't convert. Shaq with another rebound. He's got 8. Miller not letting Scott get off the easy three-point shot.
Miller trying to pressure him. They force Shaquille outside.
And another illegal defense. That's the third of the game called against the Pacers. And another technical. Larry Brown does not have a smile at this point.
Here's Shaq trying to get the post up. Working. Caldwell fronting him, forces him outside. But the real reason was Reggie Miller's defense out there not letting the easy pass get to the post.
Dennis Scott with the technical, and it's a 45-39 game with Scott with 19 points. Shaquille. Now O'Neal over Caldwell, and Shaquille O'Neal now with 12. Scott, by the way, who scored 20 points last night against the 76ers, has 19 already. 16 on the shot clock. You look at the game clock here in the first half. Miller wide open in the baseline. He can't buy anything from outside. 2 for 11, and one of them was a layup.
Scorers find a way to score. Before the night's over, he'll get baskets.
I believe you're right. There's the shot clock and the game clock, and a 47-39 lead, an 8-point lead, biggest lead for the Magic, 9 in this second quarter. And Hardaway has it deflected by Reggie Miller out of bounds, and Indiana will have 4.6 seconds to get the last points of this half. Travis Best into the corner. Here's Pierce for three. He's got it, and it counts. Ricky Pierce.
You jump, you shoot. It's easy as ABC, 1, 2, 3. First, set your feet, because you've got to have balance to jump. Secondly, aim. Square your shoulders and get a good look at the hoop, because if you can't see it, you won't hit it. Thirdly, fire, but don't forget to follow through every time. Woo! But add a hand in the face, an elbow in the back, and a split second to set, aim, and fire, and you've got the real game flavor. Welcome back to the Market Square Arena, and we have a fantastic game of basketball. Orlando Magic lead 47-42. Shaquille O'Neal has been great, drawing triple teams, while Dennis Scott has been busting through from outside. But Indiana can get back, and Dave's going to tell us how.
I'm not worried at all. Reggie hasn't warmed up yet, and in Indiana, they call the third and fourth quarter Miller time. Continue to play tough defense on your man Shaq, and Miller warms up. He'll be fine.
Well, we've got more great basketball to come, so let's get back to the game.
Dwayne Shinsis coming off with a season's high 11, coming off the injured list. He went on December the 14th, and he has 11 points, one of only 2 in double figures for Indiana tonight. Hardaway going strong to the hoop and lays it in. Penny with 7.
Changed the shot in the air, and Davis and McKee are keeping the ball alive, and they're allowing Shinsis to get open in the lane for some pretty easy shots.
There's Shinsis low against O'Neal, who has picked up 2 fouls in the game. Shinsis with a one-hander again. Secret weapon for Larry Brown tonight, with Rick Smits out with the flu, is Dwayne Shinsis in his 6th year from the Florida Gators.
He's being very aggressive. Rarely does he go one-on-one, and particularly against a guy like O'Neal. He's 6 for 9 from the field, which is a real shocker, but that happens in games like this. When you're shorthanded, people step up.
6 for 9, as you mentioned, for Dwayne Chintzis, giving the Pacers a big shot in the arm tonight. 54-51, the Magic in front. Two-man game, Anderson going back into Shaq. Big jump hook in the lane for Shaquille O'Neal. He has 14 points.
They're going to be able to get either he's going to get a shot if they don't double, or they're going to be wide open. Here's Chintzis all alone.
All alone now is Derek McKee, passed up the outside shot. And now misses from outside, batted out by Chintzis. Jackson, Chintzis open, hits again. And Miller now in the ball game with 8 points, and Orlando finding themselves on the short end now by a point. And Dennis Scott quickly puts him up by 2 with another from almost from downtown. That's a 2-point shot. He's got 21 in the game.
Set play. O'Neal comes off the pick by Scott. Scott steps back because they've got the help on Shaquille.
Here's Mark Jackson with 8 on the shot clock, looking inside. And a 3-second violation called against the Pacers.
And Reggie Miller, very vociferous.
He was also pretty loud about it too, Chuck, you know, when you think about it.
Now Terry Durham smiling about it.
Penny Hardaway working against Jackson. He'd like to get him to the low post for sure. Double team on Shaq. Shaq with 16 now. Leading scorer Scott with 21. Hardaway has 11. Those are the 3 in double figures for the Magic. Mark Jackson feeding inside Dale Davis. McKee. And a quiet night for Horace Grant. McKee throws up a shot and misses. Not the best offensive sequence tonight for Indiana.
This is where the Indiana Pacers have got in trouble all night, when they've had to force up that outside shot rather than getting the post up and working out of it.
Scott for 3. Rebound Dale Davis as he boxed out, got position on Shaq. 9 rebounds for Dale Davis, who had 9 in a losing effort against the Bulls on Sunday.
Jackson getting a lot of handles and positions out here, but not taking much advantage offensively.
Reggie Miller isolated, shooting over Nick Anderson.
He's getting it going now, and they're going to have to work harder on him.
And it's a 2-point game. Magic leading 60, make it a 1-point game, 60-59. Knocked away, and a fine play by Antonio Davis. Here's Reggie Miller, lays it in.
And a good aggressive defense by the Pacers, overplaying the post area, making it difficult to get the ball to the post.
Reggie Miller 4 for 5 here in the third quarter after being ice cold from the field in the first half. In low to Horace Grant. Grant has yet to score tonight. Came in averaging over 12. Shaquille O'Neal. And that gives the Magic a 1-point lead and a seesaw third quarter, 62-61 with 4:20 to play. Third meeting between the teams. They split the first 2. They'll have 1 more to play after this one. Antonio Davis stops, pulls up, and it'll drop for him. Antonio Davis now with 8. 14 lead changes in this game. And Indiana regains them by 1. Scott for 3. Yes. Pacers will inbound. Workman to McKee, and Derek McKee now with 18 points becomes the high scorer for the Pacers, who are up by 5. That's Indiana's biggest lead since the first quarter tonight. Anthony Hardaway knifes his way in to get a bucket. Hardaway now with 20.
And he hurt his left foot on the play. He's limping back.
Mark Jackson penetrates for the basket.
And Jackson takes advantage of it, goes right back to the basket.
You're right, Chuck, and Hardaway needs a blow, and he's going to keep going, and the Magic have not called timeout. So Hardaway limping is still on the floor. And finally, A foul is committed by Haywood Workman. No illegal defense has been called. So Hardaway gets a break because of the illegal defense call. And with 20 points and 8 assists, will go to the bench.
Here's Hardaway lofting it up. Hard to tell. He must have stepped on a foot after he came down. But if you remember earlier in the game, he did hurt his foot. Don't know if it was the same one.
So Brian Shaw is in there with Anderson and Bowie, O'Neal and Grant. Grant, by the way, has not scored tonight. Anderson posting up against the veteran Ricky Pierce. Trying to go into Shaq. He does, and he lays it in. Mark Jackson on his switch had to guard Shaquille O'Neal.
And what a great option. Just lob it up in the middle of the lane and see if the big guy can grab it.
Pacers by 2, under 8 minutes to go in the fourth. Ricky Pierce. Antonio Davis throws it away. Mark Jackson can't save it. And a timeout was called. Jackson called a timeout. Pacers by 4. So the question is, will the Magic's road woes continue as they're trailing by 4 with 4:40 on the clock? Here's Reggie Miller. That's a 2-point basket for Miller, who's got 19 in the game.
Going inside, working McKee, trying to get a mismatch. Although Grant played him very, very well. Miller got daylight.
Here's Shaq out to Hardaway. Cut off by McKee. O'Neal inside. Looks like they can never stop him if he gets position like that. 24 points.
You can't get there quick enough to stop that turn to the middle.
Lead is 4. Reggie Miller 6 of 7 shooting here in this second half. McKee had nothing and finally put the shot up. That second time he might have forced it tonight.
They need to exploit the matchup of the big guy against Dennis Scott. They're going the other way. That leaves Grant playing straight up.
And a whistle. And Antonio Davis is bleeding, so he's going to have to come out of the game and replaced by Adrian Caldwell.
This is when the Orlando Magic, a young club, has to have a lot of patience. There's a lot of time on the clock and keep working basket by basket.
We've already talked about their improved intensity defensively tonight. Hardaway from the perimeter misses. Here's Reggie Miller. It's a 4-point lead for the Indiana Pacers. Trying to break a 2-game losing streak here at home. McKee misses a short hook shot. Nick Anderson. Indiana back defensively though. And Scott for 3. He's got it. That is number 7 tonight from downtown by Dennis Scott, who leads with 27 points.
They need to go to Dale Davis against Scott on that post-up because now they have Grant playing McKee and he can play him straight up.
The 1-point game, and Mark Jackson tried to lead Reggie Miller a little bit too much. And on the turnover, Orlando gets the ball with 2:59 on the clock.
They'll really execute here. They've got Dennis Scott with the ball. That means they want something to happen where he can stand up for that 3-point shot.
Hardaway now guarded by McKee, so they got a bigger man on Penny Hardaway. 3 on the shot clock. Scott forced that one up. Loose ball foul against Indiana. And the Pacers with their 4th team foul. So that will not be a shooting situation. The second foul against Derek McKee. There the stitches on the lower lip of Antonio Davis.
That happened on the drive previously where he got called for a foul.
O'Neal nearly lost the ball out of bounds. Less than 2.5 to go in the 4th period. Scott misses. Batted out by Caldwell into the hands of Jackson. It's a 1-point Indiana lead. Here is Davis. And a wild shot, a layup by Derek McKee. He hits the deck. no foul. And now we have under 2 minutes to go. Scott going inside to Hardaway, working against Mark Jackson. Anderson for three, short. Shaq keeps it alive. Scott for three, not short. He's got it.
As soon as you start doubling, which they've done every time, they kick it out and get great three-point shots. Anderson and Scott can really burn you.
And Scott with 8 from downtown. The Magic lead by 2. Loose ball out of bounds, turned over to the Orlando Magic. So Indiana, which had a 6-point lead with 6 minutes to go, now trailed by 2 as we wind down to a minute and a half remaining.
Came down and very quickly went for a shot. Need to have a little patience, although I think Miller thought he could get fouled by going the line. Here they go to Hardaway again.
Posting up against Jackson, the double team, gets it back. 6 on the shot clock. Hardaway. And the rebound by Mark Jackson. Indiana trailing the Magic of Orlando by 2. It was off the foot of Nick Anderson. Reggie Miller inside, no foul, and now a foul inside as Derek McKee will go to the line. Interestingly enough, Chuck, Reggie Miller has taken only 1 shot in this 4th quarter. Shaquille O'Neal with his 5th personal foul.
Reggie Miller comes off on the baseline. He makes it fake, comes up, and he thinks he gets fouled right there, and he does get bumped pretty good. Could easily have been a foul. The ball then went inside, and McKee went to work, and he did get the free throw, I think on the basis of what happened on the outside.
McKee 5 for 7 from the free throw line as Dale Davis comes in. Shaq, this was his 5th foul.
And there he goes right up through Shaq on his arm, and there's no way he had anywhere to go, but Shaq is there, got him on the arm, got called for the foul.
Derek McKee is delivered big time, misses the free throw. 21 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists for Derek McKee. And the Magic lead by 1, 96-95. 13 on the shot clock. Hardaway going inside to you-know-who. Anderson back to O'Neal, tipped away, and they'll call the foul on Antonio Davis. That is number 4 for Davis.
I'm wondering if it was by design on that catch or they're going to let him handle the ball.
O'Neal 4 for 8 from the free throw line. Cooley makes the first one. And Ricky Pierce will check in for the Pacers. O'Neal's free throw percentage has gone down in each of his 4 years in the NBA. 5 for 9, but he
missed a second.
So the lead is still 2, 97-95. Mark Jackson is called to play. 16 on the shot clock. Firing from the corner, Ricky Pierce ties it at 97 with just under 18 seconds to go.
Brian Hill elects no timeout. They're going to bring it down and go for 1 shot.
Shot clock is off with 5 seconds to go. Dennis Scott fires away and hits at the buzzer, and the Orlando Magic have won it. Dennis Scott. Dennis Scott.
I saw Penny swing the ball to Horace, and when Horace caught the ball, it was like 3 seconds. And Horace threw it to me, and Ricky Pierce slipped a little bit to my inside, so that's when I just went to my fadeaway. Just went through my normal routine. The last time I glanced at the clock, it was like a second and a half, and I knew as soon as the ball hit the net, I knew the time ran out, so I didn't know if they was trying to give me more time or whatever. But, I got unbelievable teammates. They're very unselfish, and they know whenever I get the hot hand, they always look for me on the break and out of double teams. This makes my job a lot easier. The only thing I have to do is get open.
We did a good job of getting the ball out of Penny's hands or making the ball go down to Shaq. We wanted to trap and get it out Penny's hands, and you gotta give credit to Dennis. He was on fire all night, and he hit a tough shot with Ricky right in his face. So
You got to give them credit. They hit shots when they had to.
He hit an unbelievable shot. I mean, we were in it till the end, and we just couldn't get it done. But I think the intensity was there. Everybody played real hard, and we just go from here.
I thought we had some opportunities to lose our composure in the fourth quarter when we went down by 6 points there, but we didn't. We just executed, got right back, tied it, and then got the lead, and fortunately made a big shot at the end to win it. But it was a very physical game, very tough game, and I'm just glad we came out on top.
Why has it been so hard to play in the past? Huh?
If you don't make that shot after. In American terms, we call it 8 on 5.
Oh, for real?
I don't know what you call it
8
in
on
London.
5.
8 on 5. Figure it out.
Okay.
For real? What do you have? It's supposed to be 5 on 5, right?
Sure.
It'd be 8 on 5.
Yeah, he'll have 16 coming.
So, is this team
that's right. That's right. He hasn't really played much on every team.
Is this team going to go all the way?
If we do what we're supposed to do, we should go all the way. We just need to set our goals high. And I love you, London. I love you.
I need somebody. Money is a thing me want to get, so money cover me. Them a hold me down. All me I want to try and get our money.
Ewing's had a couple of hoops to get him going here in the second half. Another reverse.
Hey, what's happening, big man? How you doing? I'm all right. So, you gonna take it to the hole with authority this year or what? Oh, yeah, every chance I get.
Here's Robinson on the feed. David Robinson with the dunk. 14 points for him.
I need some money. I need some money.
Dennis, the lob to Shaquille. Oh, he brings the house down.
Can I try on your jacket?
Michael posts up from Bill Winnington. One giant step for Michael.
Yeah, no, I saw some backpedaling going on.
Lob to the right man. He will go to get it with the right hand.
Inside he comes. He leads in with a running jam.
Sometimes I have to actually, step back and take a look at quite what I've done. I try to be the best basketball player I can be, and just try to have the most fun I can, and I enjoy it out there.
When I throw it up there and he throwing that ball through that net, and that's like rain coming down out of the sky.
The game was made for Shawn Kemp's body. It was made for Shawn Kemp's tools. If you're developing a basketball body for a power forward, you would say Shawn Kemp.
I grew up with leg braces on knees and ankles. I struggled early on with the growth and development of my legs. And when you're tall, you're going to get teased. I didn't get too bothered by it. I didn't let people know I was bothered by it. And I think that way it worked out.
He just has a determination, and I don't know where he got it from, but it's a lot of determination to keep going.
My mom worked 2 jobs while I was growing up, through elementary, junior high, and some high school. She was dedicated to doing what she wanted to do to take care of our family and take care of our home.
His sister always played, and that was, I think the main thing that got him interest because he wanted to challenge her.
She's the one. She's the one that I think made it happen. She's the one that was competitive with me from the time I was little, the one that pushed me. And she's the one that taught me how to play.
Concord Minutemen again. Oh, it's showtime.
I remember he did a 360. I'm not sure who it was against. And he just went up, and we just thought he was going to just have a normal dunk. And next thing you know, he's flying around in the air, bringing the house down.
I can remember several times. I mean, I'm ready to jump out of my skin to yell at one of the guards for throwing a lob out of the gym. And I mean, I think it's going, you know, going to hit the end wall. And the next thing you know, I mean, here's his hand going up, grabbing it, slamming it through. And it's like, oh, that was a good pass.
Kemp, look at that talent. Rebound, handle the rock. Look at him handle it. Look at this kid. Are you serious? Are you for real? That's a superstar potential.
I always wanted to play in the NBA, but I never dreamed of being a star. My dream was to go through high school and to win the high school championship with some of my friends and just to be a normal kid.
Chicago's win over Indiana included an incredible performance from Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. They became only the 9th pair in NBA history to score 40 points each in the same game.
They triple team Jordan. Pippen, nice fake. Oh, Scottie Pippen. Jordan with a spectacular move.
Today's game was a game where we feel like that, you know, we need to give it up on the series. We faced this team twice before and we had split, so you know, we wanted to get the upper hand. And, playing on their court, and we realized that we're a good road team, that we need to establish some type of dominance.
Charlotte's Mighty Mouse, Muggsy Bogues, spent most of the season in rehab after knee surgery. His comeback lasted just 4 games, pulling up with the same problem during the Hornets' win over Milwaukee.
In the Alamo Dome, San Antonio had a rocky start against champions Houston.
3-on-1, Cassell lobs for Ori.
Before bouncing back to win.
Oh! David Robinson.
The champions needed overtime to fight off the tough Sacramento Kings, but once they were there, class told.
Looking for the quick basket. There's a turnover. Slap the head to Cassell, and this will do it. Yeah!
In Chicago, the NBA favorites proved too good for a Cleveland team coming off 8 straight wins. This time it wasn't the Jordan-Pippen combo, but Ron Harper who led the scoring.
And Ronnie Harper right there with a steal. Danny Ferry reached out and grabbed Scotty as Harper goes in, got it counted, he's fouled.
Charles Barkley staked another place in the record books in the Phoenix Suns' overtime win against Vancouver. This was career rebound 10,000, making him only one of 10 players in NBA history to rack up 20,000 points and 10,000 rebounds.
The Los Angeles Lakers win over their city partners, the Clippers, was pretty straightforward, except for another game ejection for coach Del Harris. He says he now ranks 8th on the all-time ejection list.
More records fell in Salt Lake City, where Dream Teamer John Stockton passed the all-time steals record during Utah's win over Boston.
Stockton steals. There it is. Stockton stole the ball. Stockton stole the ball. He's the all-time leader in the history of the game. 2,311.
It's a pretty neat feeling. It's a neat feeling with the assist thing. With each assist, the crowd went crazy, and with this, it was similar with the last one and the couple last game where they're very aware, and it was kind of fun. I think the whole team picked up for a couple minutes, and we were all running around, found a lot of energy at the end of the game.
The New York-Detroit game was a thriller, with the Knicks sneaking it in overtime, but the cost may be high. Mainstay Patrick Ewing was injured right at the death.
Back with the record books, easily the worst game of the week was the horror show between Miami and Philadelphia, the second lowest scoring game in NBA history.
Anderson to Myers, down low to Johnson. Johnson now takes it in on the drive, puts it up and under. Good! Larry Johnson continues his outstanding play.
They both could have done with the Larry Johnson show. The Charlotte star was everywhere in the Hornets' win over the Bullets.
Losing wasn't the only problem facing Washington. Owner Abe Poland decided to change the team's name. He said the Bullets were too violent a name for America's murder capital. A citywide vote came up with a new name. Watch out for the Washington Wizards in '97.
It was a question of tradition, history, or possibility saving lives, anti-violence, stop the killing. And maybe I can be the catalyst to start something here in this community with kids killing kids with, with bullets.
Trade deadline day turned out to be a dull affair. The only big name moves, Golden State's point guard Tim Hardaway to Miami and Minnesota's Christian Laettner to Atlanta.
The Lakers didn't need magic as Showtime hit the road. Dallas Mavericks were the hosts, as Los Angeles schooled Jason and the kids.
Ceballos up court to Van Exel. Sets it up for Jones. Eddie Jones on the dunk.
The Bulls were dead meat in Miami. Rex Chapman was on fire with 39 points as the Heat handed Chicago a rare defeat.
Shot clock. Rex for three. Yes! Oh boy! Rex Chapman.
Trade day might have gone, but the big news is the New York Knicks are planning to splash $10 million on either Indiana's Reggie Miller or Washington's Juwan Howard.
Having won 6 straight games in the Atlantic, the Magic are putting some distance between themselves and the Knicks. And watch out for New Jersey. They're on a roll. They've won 5 in a row.
Chicago remains on pace to win a record 70 games, while the rest of the Central jockeys for playoff positioning. Keep your eyes on Charlotte. They're on fire.
The Jazz are swinging in the Midwest, holding a slim lead over the Spurs. The world champion Rockets still within striking distance.
Seattle have won 76% of their games and are comfortably ahead of the red-hot Lakers in the Pacific. But Sacramento is fading fast from the playoff picture. They've lost 9 straight games.
Well, everyone's gone home, mostly in tears, with the Orlando Magic winning 99-97. But don't worry, there's more basketball on Channel 4. Wednesday at midnight, it's the game of the week on NBA XXL. Thursday at 6, music, movies, Star and Shaq versus Michael. The Magic against the Bulls. Then it's NBA Raw, Sunday morning at 11:15. All the best action, news and features, plus Grant Hill's Detroit Pistons at Sean Kemp's Seattle Supersonics. So that's it. We'll be in Seattle next week. So say goodbye, Dave.
Goodbye, Dave.